Hey everyone, this is Jerry with San Pedro Mastery. My grow journal using small containers has been quite popular among subscribers of this channel, and many of you have asked me not to kill it. That's fine with me, since I've really enjoyed sharing it with you, so I will continue this series in the future. And today is time for an update. These days, my small containers are scattered around my terraces. Some of them can be found on top of this table. Here on the left, you can see two larger trays, one of Bridgesii's and the other one of Pachanoi's. On the right, it's a mix of small containers and square pots. These containers of peyotes were started in April last year with the first episode of the series. They don't have any pest and I did not have to treat them either. Catching our eyes here is my container of Atacamensis crossed with Pachanoi. Look at how beautiful these are, and how fast they grew, considering fat trichos normally grow super slow. I guess it's the Pachanoi genetics part. Atacamensis is a very close relative to the Trichocereus Pachanoi. It's rare, and I'm very lucky to own a few adult plants. These are pure San Pedros. They are Pachanoi Francis crossed with Pachanoi Sardagnola A3, and these were grown later on in the series. They are about a year old now. If you remember well, they started their life really badly. They were bright red from too much sun and stayed small for a while for that reason. These are Taquimbalensis and they also were a later addition to the series. They are about a year old. They are open pollinated, but I did say at the time I suspect they are pure, since the only other cacti I noticed flowering at the time in that area were also Taquimbalensis plants. And so far, all the batches I've grown of it from different fruits look exactly the same, which also hints to the fact they could indeed be pure. Behind, we can see two trays of Taquimbalensis that were started at the beginning of the series, and naturally, those are a bit bigger. They are going to be amazingly beautiful plants, and I think everyone who got these seeds from me are going to be very happy in the future. Obviously, these trays are starting to be way too small for them, and they are begging to be repotted. I did raise the level of the soil by adding a layer of soil at the bottom, and that allows them to expand a bit sideways. This technique of adding a layer of soil at the bottom is something I recently explained in my video, 12 tips for growing San Pedro seedlings outdoors, so check it out if you haven't. After that, where can I find more of those small containers? This one here, I'm not sure if it was one of the original small containers, or part of one, but in any case, it's got some Bridgesii in there, and one of them is a monstrose. It is a multi-branch plant, so far it has 2 branches, and both of them are starting to go monstrose now. I'm sorry about the fact it won't focus. I need to put the plant down and tap on the screen of the camera to manually set the focus. Okay, now it's better. As you can see, they're going to have the melting wax look, or something like that. I will grow them until they are adults, in the hope of being able to produce seeds with them. That would be amazing. Now, what else have I got? I'm pretty sure I saw another monstrose Bridgesii, grown from the same batch of seeds. If only I can find it. Oh yes, there it is. As you can see, it is clearly monstrose. Imagine 2 monstrose Bridgesii adult plants having babies. Would all the babies be monstrose or not? Stick with me for another 10 years and maybe we'll find out. Now we're taking a look at my other terrace, and I think there are some small containers in there. If you're wondering what are these plants in the tray, they are plants with insect problems. I've brushed them with plain water, using a soft toothbrush, then rinsed them with the garden hose. I'll pick them up again in a while, and if they are still free of insects, I'll repot them. If on the other hand insects have come back, then I will brush them again and this time spray them with soapy water. That will do it. Now here on the left I have some small containers. Okay, these Pachanois were not actually part of the video series, but they illustrate how big they can get in those small containers. And behind there is another container of Pachanois. As you can see, you can leave them in these small containers for a long time before you repot them, although some of them are falling over, and the only way to resolve that is to repot them. Over there we might have more small containers. Let's take a look. I'll remove the shade cloth which I used to filter the sunlight. Okay, do we have any small containers from the original batch? Yes, here there is one. These are Knuthianus. 8 plants have survived from the original 40. This is because I've gone through some serious neglect at times, and some of them died of thirst. But now that they are this size, they will make it. It's very weird how 3 of them decided to grow vertical and the others not. Especially since all of them had the same exact look when they were about half this size. They do look beautiful, and I can't wait to grow these until they are adult. Interestingly enough, some of them are variegated, and those are always more desirable. If you have grown some of my Knuthianus seeds and you've also had variegated plants, please let me know in the comment section. At the very beginning of the video, you might also have seen some small containers on the floor underneath a shade panel. The panel is resting on top of some square black pots positioned upside down and tied to the metal frame with zip ties. Like this, there is sufficient air circulation for the plants underneath. Here you can see 2 layers of shade cloth. This is a strong shade. There on the left, we have a light shade, which also happens to be a lighter shade of green on top of some strong shade. Combining a light shade and a strong shade is perfect for my seedlings in August, where the sun is the strongest. But the small containers underneath are positioned on the right, where you have 2 layers of the strong shade. This is normally too much shading, but these containers needed it. Now they look fine, but not so long ago they were bright red due to too much light. Since I put them under heavy shading, they fully recovered their healthy green color. These 15 containers, by the way, were started under the Spider Farmer LED lamp, and I talked about them in my first Spider Farmer video. They got red due to the LED, but they have now fully recovered. I did also raise the level of the soil to allow for better air circulation. Now they're still a bit young, and many of them look kind of similar, but I will show them to you in details at the end of the summer. By then they will have grown quite a bit. There is some really cool stuff in there, so make sure you subscribe and tick the little bell not to miss that video. Also, I will soon be starting a new batch of small containers with the many new varieties that I'm expecting from my 2021 harvest. So stay tuned, there is plenty more updates in this series coming up. As always, if you're interested in buying some of my seeds or some seedlings grown from the same seeds, please send me an email and I will reply with a price list and photos. You will find my email in the description of this video. I will also make it appear now on the screen. Don't forget to mention in which country you live. Thanks for watching, and I'll be back soon with more videos. Hasta la vista.